Hello guys and welcome to today's video. My name is Dane Luca. I post lifestyle and travel videos every single week, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Now, I recently visited Japan and I was very interested to see what their hostels had to offer. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving you a full tour of a few hostels that I stayed in. Now, hostels are definitely the most cost-effective way to travel these days. They give you the option of cheap accommodation and a chance to meet other travelers. Being that Japan is not the cheapest for hotels, you may even want to consider staying in a pod hostel on your next trip. Or maybe you've never stayed in a hostel before and you have no idea what to expect. Sit back, enjoy the video and smash that like button. Now first up, I stayed in the district of Shinjuku City, Tokyo. I found I was so overwhelmed with choice when looking for accommodation options in Tokyo as it was so saturated. I came across unplanned Car Osaka. It had a rating of 9.3 on Hostelworld, which is quite impressive. It also was a 5-minute walk from the nearest metro and it was surrounded by lots of local places to eat. Let's have a look around and see what I thought. Now, on the ground floor of this building, it is a public cafe. However, it was generally quiet whenever I walked through or sat and had a coffee. They offer free breakfast, which is a massive bonus as not a lot of hostels do that. And I heard that Japanese people don't typically do breakfast. They also host activities during the evening, such as traditional bar crawls. However, I never went on these, so I couldn't tell you if they were good or not. Overall, I found the amenities really impressive in this hostel. Now, on the third floor, there was a small common room where you could make food and hot drinks. There was a TV as well. I didn't hang out here much, however, I was able to get some work done because it's such a nice open space. I also didn't realise until the third day that they had a rooftop terrace. It's currently going from winter into spring right here in Japan, so you wouldn't make use of that right now. I did love that they had loads of books and guides on getting around Tokyo City, which is so helpful if it's your first time here. Say this is probably one of the nicer hostel bathrooms. The fact that they even have hair dryers, don't see that a lot. So I think I just love the amenities in this hostel. It's also so clean in this bathroom. So probably my favourite part of this hostel is that they have really nice hand soaps to wash with. I've been staying in hostels in Australia and these smell so good. So we've got conditioner, shampoo and body wash as well. And I found as well that this bathroom is usually always empty when I come in here, so there's never like a rush for the bathroom. And there's always little sinks, which is really handy. Now, probably the sticking point for your decision on booking a hostel or not, what are the dorm rooms like? Now, in this hostel, you weren't allowed to wear shoes in the bedroom. They did have these little cubby holes to keep your shoes safe, and I never felt like someone was going to take my shoes. I've used my GoPro to try and capture the actual size of the pods. I found it was a good enough amount of space. You obviously couldn't stand up or anything in there, and you wouldn't want to spend all day in there, but I was happy to chill for a couple of hours now and again when I was resting. So I had a 20-hour journey to get to Tokyo, so I was actually exhausted by the time I got there. I arrived at about 10 o'clock at night and it was probably one of the most comfiest hostel beds I've ever stayed in. I'm pretty sure the beds were memory foam. Now, when I saw the beds were made from wood, I didn't like it that much. However, eventually I kind of got used to this and I felt it gave the room a very homely feel. I'm also visiting during the coronavirus outbreak, which is currently happening in 2020. So this hostel was very quiet, hence all the empty beds. I really liked that the hostel had hangers and a safe space to put my valuables. I honestly think Japan is one of the safest and kindest places to visit. I never felt unsafe or that my valuables were at risk. I would literally leave my room with the laptop on my bed or my passport and I was totally fine. this was the second hostel I stayed in. It's called Peace Hostel and it's based in Kyoto City. It's in such a good location, just 5 minutes walk from the main train station. I just want to start off by saying the staff here was so friendly. They would really go above and beyond to try and help you no matter what. So thank you guys for such a pleasurable stay. They gave me loads of tips and recommendations on what to check out in the city. This hostel was also so stunning. I loved all the decor and the outside areas. I can imagine the rooftop terrace being a great location in the summer. FYI, my feet were actually frozen getting these shots as I was barefoot, and it just rained and it was only about 3 degrees at this point because I was filming this video in the morning. Once again, this hostel did provide breakfast. It was pretty basic, but the staff are friendly and they ended up serving it to me each morning. One thing I didn't like was how much plastic was on everything. I mean, 1 piece of plastic on each piece of bread, really? They do, however, serve free coffee and tea 24 hours a day, which is an absolute must for me. I love my green tea. Next, we are on to the bathrooms. Firstly, I was so shocked. This hostel had Dyson hairdryers. Who even owns a Dyson hairdryer, let alone having them in hostels? So I was staying on the 2nd floor. The downside to this was the showers were on the 1st floor. That meant having to grab my stuff and take it downstairs each time I wanted to shower. However, that wasn't a major issue for me, but some people might find this annoying. I also loved that they offered free slippers and extra pillows, which means you could get them from just outside your room. Once again, this hostel was very quiet due to the coronavirus. My main points of booking it were due to the good ratings and how close it was to the stations. The bedrooms had lockers in the room so you can keep your valuables in there. One thing I found that was sometimes my room key wouldn't work, and other guests said the same thing. The dorm beds were also pretty much a double, which I was so happy about because I've been sleeping in single bunk beds for around 3 months now, so to have a bed all to myself that was a double was amazing. You can really tell the hostels put in a lot of effort in the standard of their accommodation. The curtain also offers extra privacy for when you're going to sleep. I think this has been one of my favourite hostels I've ever stayed in, and I've stayed in a lot of hostels over the years. It was just lovely. One of the best things about this hostel as well was the free towel hire. If you're a backpacker like me, you know how much it can get to you using a quick dry towel, so the fact I had a white fluffy towel with me was amazing, so I highly recommend this hostel. Hostel number 3. Hey guys, so this is hostel number 3. As you can see, to me it kind of looks like some sort of staircase in a tower block or a block of flats or something. It's probably been my least favourite hostel out of all of them, but I did go a bit cheaper on this one because I was splurging on the other ones and I'm only here for 1 night. So this is the walkway and then it just leads directly out onto the street here. So as I just said, this was my least favourite hostel I stayed in Japan. It was called Ake Cafe Inn Guest House in Hiroshima. It was cheap and did the job of having someone to stay the night. It was 1,500 yen per night, which is about £10 or 20 Australian dollars, which is half the price of my other hostels. Firstly, I loved the location. Once again, close to the station. Staff were also really friendly. They did serve breakfast, however this wasn't free and you did have to pay. I did have a delicious hummus and sourdough toast with mushrooms, absolutely lush. The kitchen was a bit old school and I had a lot of trouble trying to boil water for a cup of tea. I've never used an oven kettle before and I kind of felt like I'd gone back in time. The bathrooms were clean, however very basic. I thought it was a nice little touch with the earbuds and cleanser. There were hair dryers and you could rent things like towels. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, the bunk I was in was very comfortable. However, I could really smell the wood and I kind of couldn't wait to leave in the morning. I also found the bunk very difficult to climb into. There was a good amount of space inside once you were in, but I just felt like I was sleeping in a wooden box. So the other thing I didn't quite like about this hostel was that my bed was right next to an extractor fan that was quite loud. So although I didn't wake up during the night, it was just very annoying when I was like in my bed. I sleep with earbuds in, so it doesn't really affect me, but listen to this. So the question you should be asking yourself, should I be staying in a hostel when I visit Japan? Personally for me, the best hostels in the world I've seen have been in Japan. Nowhere else in the world have they given me free towel hire, double beds, even Dyson hairdryers. I've never seen that before. Ultimately, it's your decision and it's all to do with what you want out of the trip, what is your budget. I would definitely say if you are looking to save a bit of money and meet people, hostels are probably the better option for you. I also find that hostels know what's going on locally. They also arrange tours, trips, and they just have a lot of advice and information. So I hope from this video you've taken away what hostels are like, and especially what hostels are like in Japan. So the first two hostels, they were around 20 to 25 pound, which is around $45 Australian dollars or New Zealand dollars. The last hostel that I stayed in Hiroshima, that was the cheapest, and that was around £10 to $20. Obviously you get a bit more for your money. I just found I don't mind paying a bit more for nicer accommodation. However, if you're not fussed about where you're staying, I would just say, you know, find the cheapest place. Ultimately, it's just a bed for the night. And lastly, guys, if you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up, leave some comments down below on what you thought. This isn't my usual style of videos, but I just thought I'd try something different. And since I'm traveling full time at the moment, I want to, you know, play around with what kind of videos I'm doing. And also finally hit that subscribe button, that totally helps me, and give me a thumbs up. So yeah, thanks for watching this video guys, and I will see you soon.